I first became interested in consciousness when I was a young man. And when I was in high school, I started experimenting with drugs the way that a lot of young people do. And I remember I was taking LSD for the first time. I was in my friend's basement, and we took the LSD, and we remember going into their music room and kind of jamming on the instruments for a while, and then we laughed for a while, and we're just tripping out, looking at each other's faces. Remember putting on the headphones and listening to Led Zeppelin. And then at a certain point, we did something different. We turned off the lights. We turned off the lights, and there was a waterbed in the basement. We just lied on the waterbed and floated there in the dark. I think I may have even closed my eyes. And everything was black, you could say, but it was so full of color. There were patterns and labyrinths of energy, and what felt like me, that 15-year-old boy lying on the waterbed, was going into this consciousness, was going into this labyrinth, these tunnels of energy and light. I couldn't stand it for very long. I got freaked out, and I wanted to turn the lights back on and laugh some more and trip out some more. But I felt like that really opened something for me. It really showed something to me, that there was something that was within me that up until that point I hadn't really seen. Later on, then I got turned on to yoga and Eastern mysticism. And interestingly enough, years later, when I was trying to stop doing drugs, I got turned on to the spiritual path. And what I found was that consciousness, or expanding my consciousness, or deepening my relationship with consciousness, transforming my consciousness, was the key to happiness. And that's what I feel like my work is about today. So on one hand, consciousness can just be talked about in terms of our whole inner world. Everything from our mind to our psyche to our soul to our deep belief systems, our emotional attitude towards life, all of that, you could say, falls into consciousness. Consciousness could also mean just how conscious we are, the opposite of unconsciousness. Like someone got knocked in the head and was knocked out, and then later they regained consciousness. And so it also means that. Even within this work, it means that, because there's a sort of waking up that happens when people become aware of their consciousness, when they become aware of what they have inside of them. It's like they become awake. Consciousness is also talked about in the ancient Sanskrit scriptures as the basic stuff, like the basic foundation for reality and the basic foundation of the universe. It's the energy that everything's made of. And it's also the energetic source that everything comes from. So then consciousness becomes like God. It becomes the very essence of everything. So we can relate to consciousness on all of these different levels. And over my life, I have found it deeply fulfilling and really life-saving to relate to consciousness on all these different levels.